We all have heroes, people we look up to, people who inspire us to push our own boundaries. For many, Bear Grylls is that hero. He's the guy who drinks his own pee on TV, eats bugs like they're gourmet snacks, and sleeps inside dead animals to stay warm. He makes the impossible seem possible. But Bear Grylls wasn't always the fearless adventurer we know today. He wasn't born with an immunity to fear or a stomach made of steel. In fact, he was once just a scrawny kid with big dreams and a healthy dose of fear, just like the rest of us. This is the story of how that ordinary kid transformed himself into an extraordinary man. It's a story about confronting your fears, pushing past your limits, and never, ever giving up. It's a story that reminds us that we are all capable of so much more than we think. Behind every daring feat, behind every death-defying stunt, there's a simple truth. Even heroes feel fear. Bear Grylls is no exception. He's openly admitted to battling anxiety and depression throughout his life. These struggles, often hidden from the public eye, reveal the true grit of the man. One of Bear's most well-known fears is acrophobia, the fear of heights. Ironic, isn't it, for a man who spends so much time dangling off cliffs and scaling mountains? Yet, this fear has been a constant companion, a shadow lurking at the edge of every daring climb, every leap from a helicopter. But here's the thing about Bear, he doesn't let fear paralyze him. He acknowledges it, confronts it, and then takes the leap anyway. He shows us that courage isn't the absence of fear but the triumph over it. Imagine this. You're hanging hundreds of feet in the air, nothing but thin air beneath you and the ground a dizzying distance away. That's Bear Grylls' reality on a regular basis. His career is full of daring descents from helicopters, often into some of the most remote and unforgiving landscapes on Earth. Each drop is a test of will, a battle against the primal urge to cling to safety. The wind whips at his face, the ground rushes up to meet him, and yet, he lets go. He trusts his training, his equipment, and most importantly, himself. These heart-stopping moments are not just for entertainment. They represent something much deeper, a willingness to confront fear head-on, to embrace the unknown, and to push the boundaries of what's possible. Bear's thirst for adventure led him to the British Special Forces, the SAS, a grueling training ground for some of the world's toughest soldiers. Here, he pushed his body and mind to the absolute limit, learning survival skills that would later become synonymous with his name. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. During a parachuting accident in Zambia, Bear's world came crashing down, literally. He landed with bone-jarring force, shattering his back in 3 places. The prognosis was grim. He might never walk again. This was a turning point in Bear's life. The accident could have easily broken him both physically and mentally. But instead, it ignited a fire in him, a fierce determination to overcome this new and daunting challenge. Section 5, Broken Wings, Unbroken Spirit. The pain was excruciating. The road to recovery was long and arduous. For months, Bear was confined to a hospital bed, his dreams of adventure seemingly shattered. The physical pain was one thing, but the emotional turmoil was just as real. Doubt crept in, whispering insidious thoughts of limitations and what-ifs. The world saw a man who had cheated death. But Bear saw the fragility of life, the fine line between triumph and tragedy. He wrestled with the possibility that his adventurous spirit, the very essence of who he was, might be gone forever. Yet, even in the darkest hours, a flicker of hope remained. Bear's spirit, much like the man himself, was hard to break. He clung to the belief that he could overcome this setback, that he could rebuild his body and reclaim his life. Section 6. Finding Strength in the Darkness. During those long days and nights, a profound realization washed over Bear. He understood that true strength wasn't just about physical prowess, it was about resilience, about the will to keep going even when everything in you screamed to give up. He began to see his injury not as an ending but as a beginning. It was an opportunity to redefine himself, to prove that the human spirit could overcome even the most daunting obstacles. And so, Bear set his sights on a new goal, one that seemed almost impossible given his condition. He would climb Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world. This audacious goal became his beacon of hope, a symbol of his unwavering determination to overcome adversity. Section 7, Everest, a beacon of hope. Climbing Everest is no walk in the park. It's a brutal test of human endurance. A relentless battle against freezing temperatures, treacherous terrain, and oxygen-thin air. For someone in peak physical condition, it's a monumental challenge. For Bear, still recovering from a broken back, it seemed like madness. But Bear wasn't deterred. He saw Everest as a way to reclaim his life, to prove to himself and the world that he was not defined by his injury. The mountain became his therapy, his reason to fight through the pain and push his body to its limits. He knew the risks, the very real possibility of failure, even death. But he also knew that the greatest risk was not in trying and failing, but in failing to try at all. Section 8. The Road to Recovery and Redemption. The journey back to full strength was grueling. Every step was a victory, every muscle flex a testament to his unwavering willpower. He endured countless hours of physiotherapy, pushing his body to its absolute limit, ignoring the pain that flared with every movement. But Bear wasn't just rebuilding his body, he was rebuilding his mind. He used visualization techniques, picturing himself standing on top of Everest, feeling the wind in his hair, the sun on his face. This mental image became his anchor, his source of strength during the toughest times. He knew that Everest wouldn't care about his pain, his past, or his fears. It was a merciless judge, offering no shortcuts, no second chances, and that's precisely why he was drawn to it. Section 9. Conquering the mountain, conquering himself. Finally, the day arrived. Bear Grylls stood at the foot of Everest, a mountain that had claimed the lives of many before him. He took a deep breath, the thin air biting at his lungs, and began his ascent. The climb was every bit as brutal as he imagined. He battled altitude sickness, exhaustion, and the ever-present threat of hypothermia. But he pushed on, driven by an almost superhuman determination. He had come too far, overcome too much to give up now. And then, after weeks of relentless effort, he stood on the summit. The world stretched out beneath him, a vast expanse of snow and rock. He had done it. He had conquered Everest, and in doing so, he had conquered himself. Bear Grylls' story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It's a reminder that we are all capable of extraordinary things, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. It's a story that inspires us to face our fears, push our boundaries, and never stop striving for our dreams.